The art of coaching, how to up your game and deliver an experience every time you step onto the floor. The objectives of this presentation are to discuss tangible strategies to enhance coaching skills and the overall training experience for clients. At the most basic level, a car is a means of transportation. It gets us from point A to point B. But imagine this for a moment. You sit down in the driver's seat of your dream car. The seats are plush. They conform to every inch of your body. You turn the ignition and the engine purrs. You crank up your favorite music. The surround sound is woven 360 degrees. You take it on the road and it hugs every curve and it stops on a dime. Precision personified. This is more than just a means of transportation, it's an experience. The same could be said of the fitness industry. Many people view their workout as a means to sweat and burn calories. They may even view their trainer as simply the person who tells them what to do. This is expected. It's how it's always been done. So how does one change the status quo? They deliver an experience every day. This is about raising the bar. Everything matters when aiming to inspire raving fans and loyal clients who will measure their membership in months and years instead of days and weeks. This is the art of coaching. The flow of this presentation will mirror a hockey game. We will talk pre-game, or tactics to apply before a session begins, and when the session starts, we'll break it down into 3 periods: setting the tone, coach 'em up, and lastly, how to finish with a wrap-up. Let's start with the pre-game, the habits and practices that effective coaches employ while no one is watching. Coaches have a growth mindset. They're always open to a better way. Many times, though, the problem isn't learning itself. There's an endless barrage of topics from every content medium imaginable. The important question becomes, who are you learning from? A good place to start? Seek out and develop a relationship with a mentor. Having a mentor is like having the cheat code to a video game. You get to skip from level 1 to level 5 with way less effort. The hardest part may be authentically developing a relationship with one. If you're not sure where to go, search for someone in the industry who is doing what you want to do. Maybe they're in your facility, or maybe you have to reach out through a phone call or email. Chances are they will be happy to share info with you and point you down the right path. Mentors pay it forward because they likely had someone who showed them the way as well. Sometimes you can develop a mentor without them even knowing it. Find an author or coach who speaks to you and buy every book and read every article that they have written. One way to know if you're a student of the game: if I gave you 60 seconds, could you name 10 experts in our field? If not, it's time to start exploring and reading from those who have paved the way. As mentioned earlier, half the battle is knowing where to start and who is credible. Included in this certification is a list of recommended authors and texts. Check the course resource guide for that list. While we're on the subject of reading, make sure to venture into other subjects outside of health and fitness. For every training book you read, mix in a self-improvement, communication, or a business read. Examples are ones relating to people, like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, or Time and Goal Management, like The One Thing by Gary Keller. Reading in this genre is time well spent in a service-oriented business like ours. Experience under the bar. It doesn't mean you have to walk around with a six-pack or deadlift 2.5 times your body weight to earn your coaching stripes. It does mean that you practice your craft and tinker with movements and methods. Think of it like this. Have you ever watched a singing competition on TV where the established singer coach is giving the contestant feedback? They're trying to explain how to hit a certain note on a song, but instead of telling them, they just belt out the note themselves. The contestants' eyes open up and they lean back as if the note had a real force to it. That coach just displayed the X factor that gives them instant credibility. As fitness coaches, we can deliver that same X factor with sharp demos and quality movement that can give us instant credibility. That credibility is not built behind a computer. It happens in our workshop, the gym. When it comes to professionalism, most think about dress codes and grooming. While the way we present ourselves is important, being a pro spans further than appearance. It's about how we treat our business, customers, and other colleagues in the field. Just because we wear gym attire doesn't mean we are any less of a professional than a white-collar executive. Every session that you run represents our entire field. We all benefit from coaches that lead from the front and display a standard that is expected in many careers outside of the gym. Our clients are choosing to spend their time and money with us. We have to live up to those expectations every session. One way to live up to those expectations: always be prepared. It starts with having a written training plan. It's no fun when the clock is winding down to game time and you don't have a training plan. Winging it takes up too much mental space. Having a plan allows us to just be more present in the moment, coaching and interacting with clients instead of continually thinking, what's next? One thing that pros don't do is speak poorly about another gym or coach. Even if a client tells you about a bad experience elsewhere, try responding with, "I'm sorry, I hate that you had a poor experience in a gym." You'll surprise others by taking responsibility for the industry, all the while demonstrating integrity and respect. If you were to take away one point from this presentation, this would be it. John C. Maxwell says, success is 15% product knowledge and 85% people knowledge. It all boils down to people. Are we building relationships, communicating, and enjoying our time with our clients? Effective coaches are like chameleons. They adapt and meet others where they are at in their journey. They earn raving fans by taking a genuine interest in others. This concept plays a role in all the coming portions of a session. Period 1. It's game time, or in our case, time for the session to start. Great coaches bring high doses of vitamin C and E, charisma and enthusiasm to set the tone. Effective coaches choose greatness every time they step on the floor to coach a session. Remember, even if it's our last session of the day, it's that client's first. Don't get it twisted though. You don't have to be the rah-rah cheerleader type to display enthusiasm. You still have to be true to yourself. Be authentic. Enthusiasm will shine through when you have passion for two things: your people and your product. Vitamin C is all about charisma. Many think this is a characteristic that you're either born with or you're not. Not true. Charisma simply means you are a likable person because you first care about others. One way to show we care: nail the greeting. Say hello with enthusiasm and a smile. There's a reason we love dogs so much, because they're always jumping at the door, happy to see us. Also, don't forget to call clients by name. Dale Carnegie would say there's nothing sweeter to people than the sound of their own name. Lastly, ask a temperature gauge question like, "How are you feeling today?" A question like this gives us a quick glimpse into the person's general mood. It allows us to better adapt our style to how they're feeling that day. The warm-up is a window of opportunity to spark conversation and form connection. In a one-on-one session, have down-to-earth interactions that aren't related to fitness. Ask about their family, hobbies, or some of their favorite movies. Of course, we have fitness as a common ground, but using this time to build personal relationships will leave both parties more invested in the process because they care on a deeper level. Group settings pose a different challenge with more people involved. One technique to employ is the sprinkler method. Aim to have a brief moment with everyone before the warm-up is finished. It can be simple interactions. Comment on someone's new workout shoes. Ask them what was the best part of your day or what they had for lunch. Employing the sprinkler method adds to coaching presence and command of the room. Another technique to set the tone is to give a preview of the session. Picture this. Anytime you watch a 60-second movie trailer, you are left knowing at least two things: the genre and who are the main actors. We should let our clients in on the genre, which is the main theme of the workout, and the main actors, which are the primary exercises. An example would be, So here's what we've got today. We're going to sweat. We'll start with medicine ball tosses. We have some goblet squats, pull-ups, and pillar work mixed in. And the big finish is 30-second sprints on the VersaClimber. A preview doesn't have to be in-depth or use complex physiological jargon. A preview gives clients just enough so that they know what to expect and they can get their minds right. Just like there will always be people who walk into the theater during the movie previews, there will always be clients who show up late to workouts for one reason or another. When that client walks through the doors, we can have one of two reactions. One is to get aggravated and wonder, why can't they show up on time? The problem with this reaction is that it's an energy vampire. It sucks the life right out of us and takes away from our effectiveness. An alternate mindset is to say hello with a smile and be genuinely glad that they still came, even though they're late. Attendance is the number one factor in every client's success. Showing up is half the battle, whether they are late or not. After the warm-up, we're ready to move on to period 2, the meat and potatoes of the session. This is where we coach them up, where communication is paramount. In the book Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath, they highlight a study that assigned people to one of two groups, tappers or listeners. Tappers received a list of known songs like Happy Birthday and Mary Had a Little Lamb. Each tapper was asked to tap out a song to a listener by knocking on a table. The listener's job was to guess the song being tapped. Over the course of the experiment, 120 songs were tapped out. When asked to predict the odds that the listeners would guess correctly, the tappers predicted they would get it right 50% of the time. Guess how often the listeners guessed right? A whopping 2% of the time. Yep, the tappers got their message across 3 times out of 120, but they thought they were getting it across 50% of the time. Why is this? It's because the tappers could hear the song in their head. Meanwhile, the listeners can't hear that tune. All they can hear is a bunch of disconnected taps, like a kind of bizarre Morse code. The tappers become flabbergasted at how hard the listeners seem to be working to pick up the tune. Isn't the song obvious? How could you not know that? This is the curse of knowledge. Once we know something, we find it hard to imagine what it was like not to know it. In our case, we went to school for this. We live in a gym. We do it every day. We want to talk about hypertrophy, metabolism, fascia, flexing and extending. Our knowledge has cursed us, and it becomes difficult for us to share our knowledge because we can't readily recreate our client's state of mind. Think of it like this. We are speaking chess, but our clients, they want to play checkers. So the question becomes, how do we beat this curse of knowledge to best communicate with our people? Let's start with exercise demos. When introducing a circuit, the best way to communicate is to give crystal clear instructions by appealing to both visual and verbal learners. We call it visual with a side of verbal. Let's start with the visual. Demonstrate 3 reps of each exercise, not just 1 or 2, so the client has time to process what they're being asked to do, and then they can think through how they're going to do it. If you're coaching a group, consider having a veteran client demonstrate exercises from time to time. This gives that person a bit of recognition while simultaneously building confidence in the other group members, because now it's just not their coach who's rocking that movement. The verbal. There's no need to give a dissertation on a movement. Give one thing to focus on. It can be something like what not to do. Don't go into turtle shell posture on the RDL. We can coach intent. Try to break the wall on the medicine ball toss. Or try giving a special technique cue that they would only get from an expert like you. Try this. On barbell bench, squeeze the bar hard to engage more muscle. A singular focus like this will almost always beat trying to juggle multiple instructions. Let's dive even deeper with cueing. The quickest route to learning something new is to attach it to something you already know. Think of it like this. Our memories are more like Velcro than a single filing cabinet. The many hooks on our Velcro represent memories and things we already know. The more analogies and stories we use, the more likely a client is to hook onto something they already know. Here are examples of how we can take something clients know well and relate it to movement. One is in place of how we typically try to cue muscles. Often in a session we will hear, squeeze your glutes or tighten your abs. Instead try, crack the walnut between your butt cheeks for your glutes. And for abs try, prepare for the belly whack. Feel free to drive the belly whack cue home by actually coming by and giving them a playful slap in the midsection while they are planking. Another common cue that is given revolves around having a solid chest out, neutral spine posture. Try using no turtle shell or chest out like Superman. One of my other favorites, if they're wearing a t-shirt with a label or graphic on the front, tell them to wear that logo loud and proud. At the end of the day, analogies that are vivid or funny get the info to stick. When crafting cues, the goal should be, how can I get across the need-to-know info as concise as possible? Here's one way to think about it. When demonstrating a movement, the explanation should be around the length of a tweet, 140 characters or less. When it comes to actual feedback on their form, cues should be a hashtag, 4 words or less. Let's take the RDL for example. When introducing this movement, we could give a brief explanation like, when performing an RDL, it's important that your back be as stiff as a board. This will help keep you safe and strong. Then while cueing them during the movement, our 4 words or less hashtag cue could be, stiff as a board. When in doubt, say less. When we actually deliver the cue or feedback during a set, we should find a balance between correcting and praising. Think about the last time you were taught a new skill. Maybe you learned to dance, how to ski, or how to throw a frisbee forehand. Learning a new movement or skill can be frustrating. Try giving positive feedback, but it should be more than just good job or that's it. Instead, try this script. The person's name followed by specific positive feedback. An example would be, John, good job snapping up with power on the RDL. Affirming in this manner makes it more likely that John will continue to snap up on his RDLs. Sometimes it's not what we say, but it's how we say it. Effective coaches have a precise touch on their tone and their volume of their voice. A perfect time to use our voice as a tool is during conditioning or ESD. It should be sharp and authoritative, like a crack of a whip. Think about getting air from the diaphragm instead of the chest. Another trick is to use shorter words, ones with syllables that can be yelled with a blast. Instead of phrases like, increase your speed, okay and relax, use go and time. They are like the blast of a referee's whistle. Let's move on to period 3, where we finish the session strong. When it's time to cool down with regeneration, we can use our voice to facilitate an environment that allows clients to recenter and reflect on a job well done. The tone and volume of our voice should guide them to meld into stretches or soft tissue work. After developing a relationship and trust with your client, using your hands to make subtle adjustments during stretches can help clients get more out of the movement. Be mindful of how you're touching them, as it can be perceived differently by different people. A successful session ends with high fives and thank you for coming. We should be grateful that our clients chose to spend their time with us. Lastly, plant the seeds for the next visit. When will I see you again? Or see you tomorrow. Get some thinking about their next session before they leave our doors. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Are you building relationships with your clients that move beyond the walls of the gym? Let's look at some potential markers to assess our relationship building skills. First is recognizing birthdays. It's easy to mark it in a calendar, but it takes work to acknowledge it. If they're coming to work out on their birthdays, try coming up with a celebratory measure. At EXOS, we sometimes have a special training session for them, while other times, we celebrate with a cold plunge cannonball in ice cold water. One other surefire way to gauge our relationship building: do we know the names of the important people in their lives? If we can refer to our client's significant other or kids by name, then we know we are building solid connections. Check for learning. List 3 references from this course so far that are new to you and that you intend to read in the next month. What are some key elements that you can bring to the table at the beginning of a session? And lastly, name one strategy that you can employ to increase effectiveness of your coaching cues and provide a specific example.